So I'd say for me, it's not so much about doing women in engineering campaigns. They're great, but equally they can almost hinder as much as they help, because then they're like, oh, well, you know, you're getting special treatment compared to everybody else. For me, I'd say the biggest thing we can do is work closer with schools and education and get people into industry at a much younger age. One of our favorite shows that we do is Scarborough Science and Engineering Week. And it's where all the STEM companies in the area come together, put on a big show. But we invite all primary schools and secondary schools in the local area. And you can really tell the difference between primary schools, where there's no idea of who should be in what job, and there's no gender stereotypes already built. And they've got so much more engagement and excitement around it for both genders, compared to the secondary schools where they've already got ideas about who should be in what jobs. I also think it's hard because when I left school, which was 10 years ago now, so it might have all changed since then, but up to the age of 16, which was when I left, there wasn't really any careers advice. So you kind of knew what your parents did, but you didn't necessarily know outside of that. And the first time I stepped foot into an engineering business was for a job interview. And it was kind of by fluke that I came across that. So I think instead of just doing school visits to universities, etc., but getting people into industry, seeing the variety of jobs, seeing the atmosphere they'd be working in. Because unless you've been and unless you see that and experience that for yourself, you're not necessarily going to consider it as a career. Especially if you are a higher academic achiever, which I was. So when I said, oh, I'm going to do an apprenticeship, they were like, surely not. So we are a full EPC provider of battery storage and solar. We're actually a really old company. So the core products of our business are generators and uninterruptible power supplies. And we do full design, engineering capability on those products. And as solar and storage has kind of come into the UK market, we've really wanted to support our customers with their journey to net zero and equally reducing their energy bills, as they're two massive problems that we're seeing everybody facing. So we want to be the leading turnkey provider for energy storage and solar behind the meter, but we also do front of the meter, bigger projects as well. Yes, so we've just won a job for one of the large banking groups in the UK. And it's a project, it's a 4 megawatt hour battery, coupled up with, I think it's 1.4 megawatt peak of solar. So it's a huge project. They've done the solar across carports because they've not got the rooftop space, but their consumption's really, really high. The site is their largest site in the UK. It's a technology centre, so it's quite data centre based, but also with lots of other things on site as well. So their consumption's very, very high. And they needed the battery storage because they wanted to install all this solar, but they couldn't directly connect it to the grid because it didn't get approved by the DNO. So putting this battery in, one, they're able to utilise 100% of that energy, but also they're able to get away from the grid constraints that they were facing by connecting all of that generation directly to the grid connection point. So we're seeing energy bills rising, which we're all seeing across everything, and that's causing a lot of problems, but people are looking at investing in their own generation to combat that. So we're seeing that a lot. And equally, the journey to net zero, especially large companies, have a lot of responsibility as far as sustainability goals, planning that out and how to do that. And the government is pushing, one, changing their fleets to EV vehicles, and then that requires them to put in EV chargers. But they're also pushing heat pumps, and both of those massively increase the consumption of their site. The grid's struggling because for it to develop as fast as this industry is developing and as fast as the net zero stuff's getting pushed, they just can't keep up. So when people are going to the grid for grid upgrades, they're getting like a 10-year lead time, which they can't halt that development for 10 years. So one, battery storage and solar can come in, reduce the energy bills because you're using your own generation. The battery means you can utilise 100% of that. But two, you can also use it as that buffer on top of your grid connection. So when you're expanding as a business and your grid connection is no longer big enough, you've got that additional energy that you can essentially charge your battery overnight, use it during the day, or charge it with solar. So there's a few different options, but they make a huge difference to companies. So we attended for the first time last year and we had an amazing show. Really, really good, really, really busy. Got hundreds of really, really good quality leads from it. So we're just being really excited to attend it again. and hopefully have a good year this year as well.